One of the quickest ways to grow in your personal development is with intentional input. In today's digital age, we are constantly being bombarded with information. A recent survey showed that the average person spends about 7 hours a day looking at a screen. That accounts for around 40% of our waking hours. Suffice to say, that is a huge portion of our time. But have you ever really thought about the content and the information that you're actually consuming? If you're watching this video, you probably have, so good job. In this video, we're going to talk about what intentional input is, how you can implement it in your own life, and then at the end, I'm going to tell you about some of the rules or strategies that I follow that have been really helpful for me. So intentional input is really just about being conscious of the content that we are consuming. It's about making deliberate choices about the information that we're allowing into our brain. The reality is that the information we consume shapes our thoughts, our beliefs, and even our actions. Mindless consumption can definitely become a problem, especially if you're trying to be productive, but it can also negatively affect all the things that we just mentioned. Especially in this era of social media, we're always looking at what everyone else is doing or what they appear to be doing. And if you're not careful, it can definitely negatively affect your self-esteem and the way that you view your own life. If you want to be more mindful and intentional about the content that you're consuming, I think it's really important to have well-defined values and goals. These are going to be the foundation for how you make decisions and also the information that you absorb. So once you figured those things out, your values and your goals, take a look at your media and information diet. So as you're going through the day, notice what you are reading and what you're watching, and figure out if that is aligned with what's important to you. And there's no need for judgment here. We can only make changes based off of self-observation and reflection. Just learning how to be self-aware can be a new skill for some people. And you may have people in your own life that haven't really figured this out yet. For most things in life, I do think that quality is better than quality. So how can you simplify what it is that you're consuming? Just like in school, find reliable sources and utilize those. I also think it's important to not automatically reject content that you don't agree with. I think we can learn a lot from hearing different perspectives and different viewpoints. Even if you don't understand it, it will help you build tolerance and compassion. If mindless scrolling has been a problem for you, then consider setting some boundaries and maybe some time constraints on when you allow yourself to consume content. Try not to use it as a solution for boredom, but actually as a conscious part of your day, even if it's just for entertainment. There's nothing wrong with making time in your schedule for entertainment. Also consider how what you're consuming makes you feel. Follow people that are inspiring or motivating or educational. If there's accounts that you follow and when you see them or you read something from them, you don't like how you feel, then just delete them or unfollow them. In terms of real life scenarios, be conscious of the people that you're spending your time with. What are your conversations like when you're with these people? Are they meaningful? Do they contribute to your well-being? If not, I would cut them loose. I've been practicing intentional input in my life for a long time now, so I just want to share with you some of the strategies that I use that have been really helpful for me. Please know that this is not a recommendation. This is simply what I use. Do what you feel is right and what works for you. If you want to try any of these, then go for it and let me know how it works. You can always reach me on Instagram, or you could simply leave a comment below the video. Just for context, the way that I currently live my life is in seasons. So I pick a main focus in one area of my life and I put all of my energy into that area while everything else goes on maintenance mode. I can explain this further in another video, but just so that it makes a little bit more sense. My current focus is on business and entrepreneurship, so that is the majority of the content that I consume. If I were focused on building relationships or on health, then it would be that. Now, it's not that those things get neglected, they're just not the main focus right now because I'm not in that season. I think people put a lot of emphasis on having balance in your life or having a well-rounded life. And I think that is possible to an extent, but I think there's also a certain level that we may never actually reach. There's no perfect balance that you're ever going to have in your life. So that is why I operate this way. I pick something that is the most important right now that's going to give me the most leverage, because typically what happens is when you start working on one area of your life, it will spill into the other areas as well. Like I said, something we can talk about more in other videos, but That's why I do this the way that I do. So first, and I think this is something that a lot of people have done in recent years because of streaming services, but I cut cable about 3 years ago. I don't really watch a lot of TV, and when I was, it was mostly the news, and I'm sure we all know how the news or watching too much of it can have a negative impact on our mental health. So because of that, I just got rid of cable altogether, and honestly, I don't miss it at all. And someone could ask, well, how do you stay informed about what's going on in the world? I recently discovered Philip DeFranco's YouTube show, which is amazing. He posts an episode, I think, every day, Monday through Friday, and it's like 15 to 20 minutes, and he summarizes everything that's going on in the world right now that's important, and it's great. I watch it, I know what I need to know, and I love it. And he's also super entertaining and fun. So if you want to watch his show, I'll put a link to it in the description so you can check that out. In addition to that, I also recently canceled my Netflix account. Honestly, the only time I was really watching it was before I went to bed. I would watch reruns of Seinfeld, and I just stopped doing that, and I read now instead. So what exactly do I read? Right now, I exclusively read nonfiction. I love learning, so when I find a topic or skill that I really want to understand, I will find whatever I can to educate myself on it. Right now, I'm actually reading my second book all about YouTube. And I do actually really enjoy fiction. I did a lot of theater growing up. I love stories. I love reading stories and telling stories. It's just that with the season of my life that I'm in right now, I'm looking for what is going to give me the most leverage, what's going to give me the most output for my input, if that makes sense. In terms of social media, I recently did an audit of all my accounts. I do have accounts on pretty much every social media channel, but it's mostly for business purposes. I actually previously took a hiatus from social media for about 2 years, and that was super beneficial for me. And I highly recommend that if you're interested in doing a social media detox, you're not gonna die. You might actually like it. However, I do realize the necessity of having a presence on these platforms so that I can connect with people like you and so that I can learn. But believe it or not, I am very much an introvert. Also, the older I get, the more I value my privacy, so I don't like sharing a ton online, except for instances like this where I feel like the information may be helpful to you in some way. In terms of the people I follow and I listen to, there are a couple of factors that I consider. Do I respect you? And can I learn from you? That's pretty much it. Again, that it's not that I don't like being entertained or that I don't like having time for leisure. It's just not the main focus right now. I have to set these limits for myself because I am a human, and I know that it's entirely possible for me to fall down the TikTok rabbit hole and end up scrolling for 3 hours. So that is my information diet, if you will. If this information was helpful for you, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can get more in the next video.